What is going on, good people? How are we feeling? Day 3, first 3 days of training camp in the books. This video is more about not just a recap of day 3, but more of a checking the temperature in the room for New York Giants fans after the first 3 practices, the first 3 days of training camp. Tomorrow the guys have the day off. Sunday they come back, and Monday is the first day of pads. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. But I'm going to ask you guys, right? I'm going to ask everybody out there right now, how are you feeling? You've seen recap after recap from all the Giants content creators out there, sports media out there. Everybody's talking about the quarterback, talking about our defensive front, they're talking about a lot of things, right? Talking about a lot of things. I want to know how you feel. Not just everybody telling us how to feel. I want to know how you feel. Let me know in the comment section down below. How do you feel about the New York Giants so far after the first 3 days? I'm going to tell you how I feel about it, though. I went into this training camp with some expectations. I went into this training camp with some optimism. As I always have optimism at the end of the day, especially in the summertime. Usually that optimism doesn't fail until after the first 4 games or something like that. And then we get into the sorrow down in the dumps type of stuff. Which takes me to my next point. Shout out to everybody that's in the comment section. Salute to y'all. Thank you for the love and support. Thank you for vibing with me. Every so often, and rightfully so, you get a couple of comments where people will feel like, here we go again. We do this every year. All this hype before the season, and then we sucked it. We're the worst team in the division. And every now and again, I get those comments, and I appreciate those comments. You know why I appreciate those comments? I think some people might type those comments because they think that I'm gonna stick a jab into that optimism. I'm gonna wipe that smile off of your face. You shouldn't be so hopeful. Listen. There's a difference between being hope and there's a difference between having hope and having expectations. This year is more about expectations than hope. I'm gonna go down my list of what we've seen so far in training camp, and I'm gonna let you guys decide on whether or not I should feel optimistic or not about the 2025 season. So first thing I want to talk about is Malik Neighbors. In the first 3 days of training camp, I think everybody, if you didn't already know, if you didn't already realize it, Malik Neighbors is him. Capital H, capital I, capital M. Malik Neighbors is him. Unguardable. Why guard Malik? Can't guard Malik. Said it in yesterday's video. This week he has done whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted, to whoever he wanted to do it to. Pause. As long as that ball is on time, most likely, Malik Neighbors is going to make the play. 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, the only thing that's stopping Malik Neighbors is a double catch. We've seen a couple of double catches throughout the first 3 days of training camp, but outside of the double catching, Malik Neighbors is unstoppable. Second person I want to talk about is the newcomer, Abdul Carter. And from what we've seen, he is as advertised. Now, the flip side of the whole Abdul Carter conversation is, well, what about our offensive line? He's doing this to our offensive line. You know that, right? And yes, that's absolutely true. The only other thing I would say is, could you imagine if we weren't seeing this from Abdul Carter? I don't care who the offensive line is. If we got into this game, or if we get into a game with the Philadelphia Eagles, and we already know how fantastic that offensive line is, if Abdul Carter's let me ask you guys. You guys expect Abdul Carter to be Abdul Carter no matter who he's playing against, right? Okay then. But also, we haven't had the pads on yet. But when I'm speaking about Abdul Carter, I also want to talk about my son JMS, who, in my opinion, right now is skating on very, 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 very thin ice. Now, he's had some good reps. He's had some bad reps. He's had some head scratchers. What are you doing? You got to be better than that. type of plays so far in the first 3 days. We saw it today with some high snaps. We saw it yesterday when he got rolled over by Abdul Carter. And no matter how we feel as Giants fans about Malik Nabers, about Russell Wilson, if you can't hold down that center of the line, that interior offensive line, then we won't see none of the wild plays in the deep down the field plays that we all expect and what we've been seeing so far, because you figure right now, red jersey can't touch the quarterback. Even if you get into the backfield with the would-be sack, they still continue to play. But overall, for me, the last 3 days have been impressive. Russell Wilson has been impressive. Who's not getting a lot of shine? Jameis Winston's not getting a lot of shine, but he's making plays in practice as well. Jackson Dart has been solid. I got into a little back and forth on Twitter. Somebody said, Jackson Dart, day 3, it was lights out. And I'm trying to figure out, what's your definition of lights out? I think Jackson Dart has been solid. He's going through the regular rookie growing pains. Good days, bad days, good plays, bad plays, regular. But he's been solid for a rookie. In my opinion, he does not fall into the category of lights out. Lights out means something different to me, and maybe it means something different to you guys as well. Let me know in the comment section, but I think he's been solid. I see a lot of people, especially Bobby Skinner, one of the main things he pointed out whenever he's talking about Jackson Dart is saying that he does hold on to the ball too long. And it's consistent. But when he is on time, the kid is making plays. So, again, a rookie going through rookie growing pains. I'm not surprised by any of it. And just like Brian Dable said, his goal is to get better every day. Now, that brings me to one of the topics I wanted to talk about is the QB2 battle. So right now we've seen a mixture of Jackson Dart getting snaps with Group 2. We've seen Jameis Winston getting snaps with Group 2. It's like a subtle rotation that's happening. And I believe that is an absolute open competition right now between Jameis Winston and Jackson Dart on who's going to be the QB2. Right now, I would say that Winston is leading just off of the experience and just off what we've seen in camp so far. When I'm seeing some of the highlights, and shout out to SNY because they put out a clip every day of just the plays. No commentary, just the plays. If you have not gotten a chance to watch their videos, they got a video for every day so far this week. And they just show the plays. Little soundtrack in the back, but it's play after play after play. And not just the great plays. We got some of the misses. You know what I mean? Throwing in the dirt, broken plays. They show you everything. So shout out to those guys over there. But for me right now, I do have Winston ahead of Jackson Dart, which shouldn't be a surprise, which also doesn't mean a thing the first 3 days of camp. The second topic I want to talk about is the CB2 battle. And right now it seems like Cordell Flott is in the lead. We've heard about the rotations, Banks getting some snaps with the ones, but every time they've started drills or team activities, it has always been Flott first at CB2 with the first group. And then you've seen Tate Banks come in. And when it comes to Tate Banks, despite him being able to make some plays, and I will say this though, we've heard a lot more on social media about Banks making plays. We've seen the videos of Banks breaking up some passes, and you haven't seen too much about Cordell Flott. But if he's still the first guy out there with the group at CB2, that means there's some things happening in practice that we're not privy to. But right now, the lead is still Cordell Flott, and trust and believe they're giving Tate Banks every opportunity, to try to win that spot. But I will also say this, even with the good plays and the PBUs that Tate Banks has had so far in the first 3 days of camp, he is still not getting his head around. He is still playing through the hands. And for a lot of people, you're just like, he's right there. Just, track the ball. It just might not be in his wheelhouse. He might just feel more comfortable with playing through the wide receiver's hands. And it seems that way. And if you're able to break up the pass, cool. But if it becomes a problem like we've seen in the past 2 seasons with him, somebody's going to have to do some type of what do they call hypnotist? They're gonna have to hypnotize him to get his head around. I don't know. It is what it is. But again, just wrapping this thing up. First 3 days, and for the people that are excited, because I'm excited too. You're not wrong. The excitement that you're feeling right now is not wrong. Some people do have a point when they say, this is the summer. This is not real games. We haven't done anything yet, and that's all true. But at the end of the day, it still shouldn't affect how you feel. And for the people that feel that way, man, I'll just say this. When the New York Giants start winning games and what you thought was fake and all hype becomes real, hopefully you got the same energy. Hopefully you got the same energy, man. Shout out to everybody for vibing with me. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. The channel is growing, and it's all because of you guys. We have the goal of hitting 10,000 subscribers. We're on the way to that. Just 700 away from 9,000, which is another milestone for me. And again, I appreciate you guys for that too. And guess what? We're going to get there. Some point in time, we are going to get there, and it's all because of you guys. Big Blue Nation. But with that being said, I want to thank everybody for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows, Big Blue Nation. Let's go.
Yeah.